And honey, let me tell you something. I never had a pain in my life till I hit this concrete in 1941. In 1948, I came down with rheumatic fever. And my doctor asked me what did I dislike most. And I said gardening, and he asked me why. And I told him that when I was at home with my grandmother, I was the one that she chose to do the home gardening. And when I left from there, I promised God, 9 good dead people, that I'd never hit the dirt again. And this is where the doctor sent me, because I was in a wheelchair. He says, find some dirt. And then, you know, in my backyard with fish boxes and pots and pans and things that had holes in it, I started gardening. Then I started liking it, because it was for me, not for, you know, the per se family. And then I saw this empty space over here. I mean, it had just about, only thing that wasn't on here was a human body. I'm not too sure we're not gonna dig up one of them one day. We got couches, refrigerators, toilets, sinks, and parts of them are still in here. I had 4 gardeners from people that I knew, and then we all got our own little persons, and they tilled it down for us. And this is how it started out being where it is now. What makes a good gardener? Generally, a good gardener is an immigrant from the South, especially if they're over 50. And although, like with me, I hated gardening because I had to do it, but they, same as I do, realize that this is where we originally came from. This, without those gardens, we wouldn't have anything. We think back to those days that without those collard greens, we wouldn't have a fresh vegetable. And this garden here gives everybody a chance to remember to utilize on skills that they have let go dormant. Gardening really make you undormacize your childhood, your past. Well, the sitting garden came to be because I remember my childhood. In every field that we worked in, there was a place somewhere in that field that was cooler, shadier, and more relaxed than any place else. You can walk any place else in this garden, but you will not feel what you feel here. And I kept coming back to this space. The sitting garden. That's our center of the city, right there. It's a place where your fellow gardeners can go back to their courting days, to their marriages, to their stresses, to their tensions. And they can sit there and talk about it, and as they talk about it, it seems to vanish. The sitting garden, that's our rhythm. That's your rhythm, right there. All day long, I'm humming within myself or loudly. Music is where it is when you're dealing with the ground, because it becomes a harmony, it becomes a concert. New friends, new associates, new gardeners. Each one is important. It's important to me because it's sharing their culture with me. Black turtle bean, that seed was given to me by Tomasita and Miss La Pena. One is from Puerto Rico, the other one's from the Philippines. Each one of them has a name on it in my garden. If I got it from Tomasita, it says Tomasita's beans from her home. Miss La Pena says La Pena's bean from her home. Wherever I may get them from, I try to put a label on it so I'll know where I got them from, so I can return seeds when I get seeds. What I do as a grandmother, I get to them through their stomach. I take carrots and make cookies and candy. I can take pinto beans and make a cake. All those recipes are traditional because being from the South, we only had so much money. We worked share farming. You got so much and the owner got so much because you shared your crop with him. And I had the type of grandmother that children don't suffer because you suffer. So she learned to use what was grown in the dirt to become a delicacy. And this is where I learned mine from. And oh, do I get my grandkids and my kids. And they said, oh, come on, Grandma, this didn't come from the garden. Yes, it did. Yes, I said, come on, I'll show you, but you got to get dirty to do it. Fine. If I can get them out here one time, 2 times, I bet you they're coming back again. So that's passing down your family traditions, your skill, your architect. That's the word I was looking for, your architect of life, and it's just about fulfilled. You have crowder peas, you have butter beans, you have lima beans, you have butter peas. 8 hills of vegetables from past experience, from homegrown knowledge, will feed a family of 8. Because the plants that you're putting in, you know they are abundantly bearers. They, like your string beans, when you pull those string beans off today, baby, you better be ready to pick again to Tuesday. Because you're going to have them to pick Tuesday. And after you pick Tuesday, you better be ready to pick next Friday. A person has to have a feel to learn to deal with the dirt. You just can't go to the supermarket and say, oh, look what grew here, some red tomatoes or a nice eggplant. You have to get dirty if you're interested in the land itself. This is what I'm trying to teach. The canvas is there. Be the artist to present the perfect picture in your mind. It may not fit anyone else's mind, but it has to fit your mind. This is what we're trying to do at the Garden of Gethsemane, and I feel we've done this. The color green is magnificent, and the color green produces the rest of your color. The dirt tells you, you put this in me this way, and I will produce for you.
And so, that is the truth.
You got to feel it. Gardening is feeling.